Hey everyone, welcome to Small Talk Sundays, where I just do some small talk on Sundays. So yeah, it's been a minute since I did one of these, and gosh, the whole hacking scenario really threw me off for a loop. Because before I got hacked, earlier that week, a bunch of like really big personal issues came up that kept me occupied for the first half of that week, so I wasn't able to get any editing things done. I'm talking about like really big personal things coming up. And so I had a lot of stress kind of build up quite a bit earlier that week, and when I finally got a bunch of things, I think, settled down all right, I tried getting back to editing the video, the same next video I've been trying to get out for a while. But as I was working on it, I find out that I was getting hacked and all that, and you all know the story on that at this point. And then later in the week, I got the account back, but then I also had like a little weekend vacation thing that I had planned weeks in advance that I was not going to miss. So that also kept me from editing anything. And then when I come back and start getting reacquainted with Final Fantasy XIV, I find out that the PvP season has ended and it's like restarting a new one. And from my experience from the last season, if I do not get to silver or gold by the end of like the second or third week of the season, I'm not going to be able to get into a single feast queue for the rest of the season. So I was just pretty much all out trying to hammer all these like feast matches all week last week. Well, all week this week, basically. So that's what I've been doing this week, which is just a lot of PvP. I've been trying to get good with Red Mage to be able to use that in feast, and I was doing all right on day one. Day one, I was getting like a 90% win rate with all my matches as a Red Mage, but that was also on ranked, so literally everyone going at it. But as soon as I got to bronze, things started taking a turn quite harshly, because I'm still like climbing with all the other players, and during this time all of like the diamond level players were also like just getting to silver and whatnot. And when you're bronze, you get paired up with unranked and silver, so I was having to get paired up with a bunch of these diamond level players and FRC finalists, rankers and whatnot, and I was having to adapt to end game strategies like right off the get-go, and that was also really strenuating on me because I had to like adapt to like such a higher level of play like so soon, and I was hoping I'd be able to like just ease my way through the levels, but no, I was just thrown right into top tier compositions with me being the only outlier, because I recognize most of the names like throughout all like the feast matches, and these players are like literally top 10 feast players material, and some of them even winning tournaments like the FRC thing because they're wearing that title. And I'm just sitting there trying to learn how to adapt to these tactics, and I'm learning as well that Red Mage is not very good at damage output. Its main benefit to the team is just extra defense. So I've had several players get rather upset with me not being able to keep up with their output or throughput. I've been getting a little better with setting up that burst, but still, after a while, I kind of decided that I'm really wanting to make this work as a Red Mage, but I really don't like making other people have to suffer through that. So I ended up picking a much more popular job, which was Summoner, which I'm still not entirely sure what its strength is outside of constant pressure. I just know that it's really easy to rack up damage as a Summoner, because you can just dot everyone up, and when you have your Dreadworm stance going, you do a lot of spontaneous burst damage. And they also have the AoE stun that really helps as well for additional CC. That's kind of what I've ended up going. But when I just started learning Summoner and went into Feast, because when you're trying to climb the ranks this soon, you don't have time to really try to learn something. You just got to deal with what you got, or else you're not going to be able to be up there in the feast rankings. So I just dove right in with Summoner, barely knowing what everything really does optimally, and that the first few matches of there were real rough. The entire time I was a Summoner was really rough, and after a while I started getting some of those like veteran players, and I was getting the ignore marker for a while. I can deal with losses. I'm fine with losing. I can deal with people coming up to me and giving me advice and telling me to like try to like do other things better. But seeing that ignore marker over my head really hits different, and it really strongly kills my drive to even keep pushing. So initially I was like aiming to trying to go for diamond, but at this point I might just settle for just silver, because seeing that ignore marker is just really killer. And speaking of which, yeah, since I mostly only do PvP nowadays in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm getting real bad impressions of the community. And I have to keep reminding myself that this is a very small minority of the overall game, but this very small community that exists, I'm not seeing a whole lot of positivity. There are the people there who are doing their darn best to try to be positive and keep people coming, but there are still those players who just aren't having it and are just not flexible at all for new people learning. And that is just really draining to try to go through. And I might just end up quitting the feast thing altogether because good lord. And most of it is from the veterans too. So if I'm trying to learn stuff on how to actually play, the people who actually know how to play in general are also normally really pretentious sons of guns, and they will refuse anyone who is not above a minimum skill bar. So yeah, that's my current impression. And I have joined the Discords and whatnot, but I haven't been getting a lot of informative use out of it outside of knowing that people are smack talking each other in Discord chats instead of in-game chats. So there's that. And yeah, the community, I have a lot of problems with the community now that I've dove further into it. Yeah, my opinion on the PvP in this game has just been degrading ever since my first impressions video, and which sucks because I would like to get more queues in, but the people who are queuing are those people, and anyone who's new and trying to jump in are immediately shunned and like thrown away with a bunch of people telling them not to queue anymore, or just telling them that they're terrible or garbage at the game, or getting the ignore marker. So the community is dying and they're literally stabbing themselves by doing what they do, and it's overall extremely stupid to me since they're sinking their own ship, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm upset, but that was a tangent. But yeah, overall that's what I've been doing this week, just a bunch of feast, trying not to get left behind, because I want at least Platinum Wolf or something. That'd be pretty cool. But right now my skill level, and considering like the gap between like overall coordination and whatnot, I don't think that's gonna be happening, and I am really unenthused and kind of demoralized about it. But anywho, as for this next video that I've been trying to get around to like actually finishing. So my problem with this next video that I've been trying to work on is that I've been intending for it to be a really quick and easy video to just make and get out. That's what I've been wanting. But almost this entire time, while everyone's been waiting for it to get done, I've just been going through script after script after script, and I've been redoing all like over and over. And by the way, I'm just gonna give you all a heads up. This next video I'm working on is a very brief retrospective of my thoughts on A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, and Stormblood, so that everyone can get up to date for preparation of me uploading a bunch of my edited playthroughs through Shadowbringers, because I want people to at least get up to date as to what my thoughts on each things are in general. But I wanted this to be a very quick video so I can finally progress to the MSQ, because I am actually refusing to touch the MSQ until I can actually get this video series out. So my progress is entirely halted, and I cannot go further until this video is uploaded. So I actually really want to get this done, but I have this kind of like internal thing where I feel like I always need to one up my last video. I did that with the PvP first impressions because I did a lot more editing techniques. I learned more things about how to like handle minions, getting a bunch of these edited clips together, using more engaging like visual techniques and sound effects and whatnot. So I did a way better job, I feel, than my very first impressions. And now I have this thing just bugging me saying this next one needs to be perfect, but at the same time I want this video to be less than 10 minutes long. But I'm trying to cram my general thoughts on A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, and Stormblood. And while I was writing the scripts, every time I wrote a script, by the time I got to like page 4, and by the way, whatever the font and default settings in general of Microsoft Word is, whatever the default settings is, that's what I've been using. So every time I try to write it, whenever I got to finally getting done with like wrapping up my thoughts on A Realm Reborn, I'd be done with like the 4th or 5th or even 6th page, and I'm like, that is way too long for what I'm trying to aim for. So I end up redoing over and over, trying to get smaller and shorter, but it's every time it's a minimum of 4 pages long for just A Realm Reborn alone. And Heaven's Word is a whole nother beast, and I can say a lot more about Heaven's Word than A Realm Reborn. So if A Realm Reborn, me trying to generalize and sum up the thoughts there, was 4 pages long, I can only imagine Heaven's Word. So ultimately, I think I'm just gonna wing it and just not go off on any scripts for that video at all. So that's what I'm planning on doing, and I think I've got a recording down. I've been like chopping it up because I tend to go on tangents, and I have a bunch of my verbal faults and flaws and whatnot that I have to edit out because I repeat myself a lot and I stutter and I do a lot of and I say like a lot. So I've done some cleaning up on that. I got it all cleaned up. Now I just need to get some of the visual aids and whatnot. But honestly, the main thing keeping me back from uploading this video is this pressure that it needs to be better than the last video. And I really need to emphasize that this next video is not gonna be better in like editing quality than my last one, because I want this to be done quick so I can finally upload a series and actually have a consistent thing going for my channel in general. So I've been stressing out a metric ton about that, and I've had a lot of setbacks over the past couple of weeks keeping me from doing that. So yeah, and this week I just wanted to get a footing in Feast so that I wouldn't miss that content for the rest of the season. So that's why I've been doing this week, and honestly, it's making me wonder why I'm even trying, because it's I'm not happy doing it. I don't get a lot of enjoyment from doing it, and every time I go in, I just wonder who's gonna make fun of me this time. So yeah, so far that's my main impression of the community, but I also realize that the PvP community is really small. Also, I still freaking hate having to use hello as my burst is ready statement, because I've already had several people who just keep spamming hello back to me over and over and over and over because I keep saying hello because my burst is ready. So people think I'm being toxic. So that's another thing that I really freaking hate, because I'm just saying my burst is ready, because in order for people to win, the melee and range needs to burst at the same time and in tandem, and they both need to be equally as informed as one another in order to know what's gonna happen in order for an actual win to occur. So I try to say hello whenever I can, as soon as my burst is ready to go and gearing to go. And I've already had a couple of instances where people just kept spamming hello back to me. I'm like, dang it, dude, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm trying to do. So there, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of Feast, and it sucks in general, but I've been trying to trudge through it just to get Platinum Wolf, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get that. And last season, I really wanted that reward, which was like a floating chair thing, but by the time I started queuing up for Feast, it was like 3 weeks in, and the queues just weren't popping. So I was stuck at like Silver and couldn't get any more games in for the rest of the season. So I'm learning from that, and I'm trying to get to at least Gold so I can get some matches in. Right now, I'm like Silver and halfway, like I'm like 600-ish, 700-ish rating, I forget, but I'm somewhere around that ballpark. But gosh, it's really demoralizing when I start getting to play with the regulars, because the regulars, I don't really synergize with them very well, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I had a lot of setbacks trying to get this video out, and this next video, I think I'm going to absolutely like start working on it this week, because I'm starting to get really freaking tired of Feast, and I've only done like 60 or 70 matches. So yeah, I might start going all ham on that this week, because good lord, I want to finally get to endgame. I'm not even, there's this new bullshit front as well. That's apparently a whole new level of content that my free company is doing that I'm missing out on. Something about this new relic grind and whatnot. And I'm just sitting here just still being a plebeian, suffering through PvP because I'm a freaking masochist apparently. So I'm just sitting there just like wishing I could play along with all of them. And not to mention, I'm wanting to really freaking do Copied Factory, because I remember when that was like the end game thing, which was not too long ago. And people were saying, hey, who wants to do Copied Factory with me? I'm like, I do, but I can't right now. So yeah, I'm just constantly taunted. They've been saying that for a long while, and I've been having to say that. And every time they say, who wants to do Copied Factory? I'm like, I do, but I can't. So yeah, I really want to get through this MSQ. I really freaking do. But right now, my MSQ progress is paused right now because I want to get this video series going. So I can't actually do anything until I can freaking get myself to edit the video. So dagnabbit, I'm upset with myself about that. So yeah, been really freaking stressed out before the vacation week. Vacation weekend really freaking helped my psyche. On top of the whole, like, the real life personal situation happening, the hacking, and then playing a freaking horror game when I can't do horror. So that I don't know what I was doing. I was just constantly building up my stress the whole time. That was really bad. That was rough. And then I come around and find out that the new Feast season started, and I'm like, dang it, man. Dang it, I wanted to get this video done way before all of this stuff started happening, so that I can actually keep like a flow going, but a bunch of stuff happening, and now it's like, what the crap, man? I just want to get stuff done. And then, yeah, just did the Feast thing, been really occupied with that, hate most of my time in there, and now it's Sunday, before I even know it, and my video is still waiting for me to put in the actual visual clips, because I think a good chunk as to why I'm struggling to even open the editing software is just the intimidation that I have to keep improving over the last video over and over and over. And I think what I'm gonna do is gonna try to go the whole like screw it route and just, well, I've already winged it. I've already got the audio recording done and I've like chopped it up. It just needs the visuals, but I need to just get more in the whole screw it mentality so I can actually upload stuff on the channel, because if I keep getting this perfectionist thing to get a hold of me all the freaking time, I'm not gonna have a channel to really work with, because it's pretty much not uploading ever then, and that's not fun for anyone. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go the whole screw it route and just try to get the video out. And I hate this like freaking expectation I've set for myself where it has to be absolutely the best editing work I can do, because it's literally keeping me from uploading anything, and I'm just almost paralyzed in fear because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't, it's so much, there's so much I gotta live up to. But yeah, that's kind of my current predicament. Right now I'm 20 minutes into the recording and I've been saying a lot because I skipped a small talk Sunday and there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't talk about it because I wasn't home. So, oh man, it's just, it's been rough. October has been nothing but rough for me so far. It's, oh yeah. So yeah, hopefully I can start getting back to uploading videos. I might jump into a horror game again. It's getting close to Halloween, I'm noticing. I have a VR. I was thinking Alien Isolation. But mostly because I think aliens are cool, but I don't know how well I'm gonna do if I was freaking out at nothing in that one game. I probably shouldn't do that. I might actually die. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Outside of the fact that I want to add that it wasn't just Feast I was doing, I was also still learning like some crafting stuff and market board stuff. But right now I'm kind of just upset with Feast right now, so that was the main thing that was on my mind. But I have been dabbling with the crafting system and the overall collectible system, crafting, gathering, and I've honestly been having a way better time doing that than the Feast thing. So I have a lot of good things to say about the crafting in this game. It's just I'm a little bit in a rather irked state of mind right now because it's just my experience with Feast. So yeah, I'll probably talk about it some other time, but right now it's just, yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna end the video here now. Thank you all very much for listening or watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful life. Don't click links. Take care, folks.